Medusa wasn't born a monster. The woman whose gaze turned men to stone was once a beautiful priestess serving in Athena's temple. What transformed her into the creature that haunted Greek legends wasn't a curse of birth, but something far more sinister. The story behind her serpent hair and deadly eyes reveals one of mythology's greatest injustices. Medusa served as a priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. She had taken sacred vows of chastity, dedicating her life to divine service. Her beauty was renowned throughout the ancient world, with flowing hair that caught the light like spun gold. She lived a life of devotion and purity within the marble walls of Athena's sanctuary. Poseidon, god of the seas, became obsessed with Medusa's beauty. He pursued her relentlessly, but she rejected his advances, bound by her sacred vows. One day, Poseidon found her alone in Athena's temple. There, on the sacred floor of the goddess's own sanctuary, he violated her. The god of the seas desecrated both Medusa and the holy temple in a single act of violence. When Athena discovered what had happened in her temple, she was enraged. But instead of punishing Poseidon, a fellow Olympian god, she turned her fury on Medusa. The goddess transformed the victim into a monster, replacing her beautiful hair with writhing serpents and cursing her with a gaze that turned any living thing to stone. Medusa became the punishment for a crime she didn't commit. Medusa was banished to a remote island at the edge of the known world. She lived in complete isolation, unable to look at another living being without killing them. Her sisters, the immortal Gorgon Stheno and Euryale, joined her in exile. They watched as their sister suffered alone, transformed from a beautiful priestess into a creature that inspired only fear and hatred. Greek storytellers painted Medusa as a villain, a monster to be feared and destroyed. They told tales of her evil nature and her desire to kill. But these stories conveniently ignored the truth of her transformation. They erased the violation, the injustice, and the victim. Medusa became the face of monstrosity, while the gods who wronged her remained celebrated and worshipped. King Polydectes wanted Perseus gone, so he sent the young hero on an impossible mission: bring back the head of Medusa. The king knew that anyone who looked at Medusa would turn to stone. Perseus would need divine intervention to survive. Athena herself provided him with a polished shield, while Hermes gave him winged sandals and a sword sharp enough to cut through anything. Perseus tracked Medusa to her island exile. He found her cave where she lived in darkness, unable to see her own reflection without risk. Using Athena's shield as a mirror, Perseus approached while Medusa slept. She never had a chance to defend herself or plead her case. The hero who would be celebrated for generations was about to kill a woman who had already lost everything. Perseus struck while Medusa slept, severing her head in one swift motion. From her neck sprang Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant wielding a golden sword. These were the children of Poseidon, conceived during the assault in Athena's temple. Even in death, Medusa's body revealed the truth of what had been done to her. Yet the myths would remember only Perseus's bravery and Medusa's monstrosity. Perseus carried Medusa's severed head as a weapon, using her deadly gaze to turn his enemies to stone. He eventually gave it to Athena, who mounted it on her shield, the Aegis. The goddess who had cursed Medusa now wore her head as a trophy. Medusa's face became a symbol of protection and power, but the woman behind it remained forgotten, reduced to nothing more than a weapon and a warning. Medusa's story isn't about a monster who deserved to die. It's about a victim who was punished for being violated, transformed into the very thing people feared most, and then killed for what had been done to her. The myths call her a monster, but the real monsters were the gods who betrayed her and the society that celebrated her death. Subscribe to discover more hidden truths behind the myths we thought we knew.